In the world of entertainment news, where every small detail can turn into a massive headline, fans are always on the lookout for the next big story. And when it involves two of the biggest names in Hollywood, the buzz becomes unstoppable right now. The spotlight has turned on Blake Lively and her connection to none other than Taylor Swift, who has just released a brand new album. The music world is already exploding with excitement, as Taylor continues to dominate the charts and inspire millions with her lyrics and storytelling. But behind the glitz and the glamour, rumors are swirling that Blake has not taken this moment very well, and whispers about a possible meltdown are spreading across social media and entertainment circles, creating a storm that fans cannot ignore. This story is not just about music, it is about friendship, fame, and the pressures of being constantly watched under the spotlight. Blake and Taylor have shared years of public moments, from red carpets to personal shout-outs, and fans have always admired their bond. But with Taylor's new album grabbing every headline, some sources suggest that Blake feels overshadowed, and this has sparked endless debates online. Is it jealousy? Is it a clash of schedules? Is it just another rumor blown out of proportion? Or is there something deeper at play here? Today, we are going to dive deep into all the angles behind this unfolding drama, exploring not only what Taylor's new album means for the industry, but also how it impacts her circle of friends like Blake Lively. This is not about tearing anyone down, but about understanding the layers of fame, the challenges of maintaining friendships in the public eye, and the way fans and media amplify every single action or reaction in this space. Blake Lively has always been admired for her charisma, elegance, and ability to shine both on and off screen, from her breakout role in Gossip Girl to her celebrated performances in films. She has built a reputation as one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. She has also established herself as a style icon and an influential figure in the world of entertainment. But alongside her career, Blake is known for her close circle of friends in the industry. And one of the most notable names in that circle has been Taylor Swift. Taylor, on the other hand, has consistently remained one of the most powerful voices in music, with an unmatched ability to connect with fans through her words and melodies. Her albums have become cultural events, shaping conversations across generations, and her tours attract millions of fans from around the globe. The two women have been seen together at various public events, sharing laughs, supporting each other's projects, and appearing to have a genuine bond. Their friendship became a celebrated story on its own. Fans adored how two major stars from different industries could maintain such a strong connection. But now, with the release of Taylor's new album, the dynamics appear to be shifting dramatically. This album has taken the world by storm. Within hours of release, it was trending on every social media platform. Critics praised its depth and creativity, while fans could not stop dissecting every lyric and melody for hidden meanings and stories. As the excitement for Taylor reached new heights, whispers began to circulate that Blake might not be celebrating this success with the same enthusiasm. Some insiders claim that the overwhelming attention given to Taylor has left Blake feeling sidelined and less relevant in comparison. While no one can deny that Blake remains an A-list star in her own right, the entertainment world can often feel like a competition, where one person's spotlight inadvertently casts a shadow on another. This dynamic has fueled speculation about whether Blake feels her own accomplishments are being overlooked. As Taylor dominates headlines and screens across the world, the situation has become even more intriguing because of the history of support between them. Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds have often been spotted cheering for Taylor, attending her concerts, and even featuring in her creative projects. Ryan himself is known for his witty presence on social media, and his connection to Taylor has been warmly received by fans. But in the face of Taylor's latest triumph, reports suggest that Blake's mood has shifted noticeably, and the tension has started to seep into their once celebrated friendship. Some fans argue that this is simply a case of media exaggeration, pointing out that the press loves to pit women against each other and create unnecessary drama. They insist that two successful stars can still remain supportive of each other without hidden rivalries. But others believe that behind the smiling pictures and public statements lies a more complex reality. Fame has a way of magnifying insecurities, even for the most accomplished celebrities. And when one friend experiences an extraordinary level of attention, it can be difficult for the other not to feel left behind. This is especially true in Hollywood, where careers are often measured by headlines, clicks, and trending hashtags. Another element of this unfolding story is the difference in the nature of their careers. Taylor thrives in the music industry, where each new project has the power to dominate the cultural conversation instantly. Her albums are not just releases, they are global events, sparking endless streams of analysis and fan theories. Blake, however, belongs to the world of film and television, where projects take longer to develop and the spotlight shifts less frequently. This contrast in exposure can easily create an imbalance of attention between the two friends, making it appear as though one is soaring while the other is standing still. And while Blake certainly has plenty of projects under her belt and upcoming ones on the horizon, Taylor's album release has stolen the limelight in ways that few other events can. The reactions from fans have further amplified this narrative, with social media buzzing about every lyric and reference in the new album. Discussions quickly began about whether any of the songs might contain indirect nods to Blake or her family, given that Taylor has often drawn from her personal relationships and friendships to create meaningful lines. Fans speculated wildly about certain phrases, interpreting them as possible messages to Blake. Whether these interpretations were accurate or not, the speculation itself fueled curiosity and drama. The more fans analyzed the songs, the more they began to weave Blake into the storyline, and suddenly the conversation shifted from being about Taylor's music hit to being about the possible strain on their friendship. This is the power of fandom and media combined. Once the idea of conflict is introduced, it spreads quickly, whether or not it has any basis in truth. Blake's own public appearances during this time added more fuel to the speculation, as some observers claimed she appeared less cheerful in interviews and less vocal about Taylor's success compared to the past. While this might simply be coincidence, the timing was enough to spark theories that something was indeed wrong. What makes this situation especially fascinating is how it reflects the pressures of modern celebrity culture. Fame is no longer just about talent or hard work, it is about constant visibility, relevance, and the ability to keep up with the relentless cycle of news and content. When one star dominates the conversation, it can unintentionally make others feel invisible, and this can strain even the strongest of friendships. Blake Lively's so-called meltdown over Taylor's new album may not necessarily be an outburst or dramatic moment, but rather a gradual build-up of frustration at feeling overshadowed, misunderstood, or overlooked in the grand narrative of Hollywood success. And as fans and media continue to speculate, the lines between reality and rumor blur further, making it difficult to separate truth from fiction. One thing is certain, though, this story has captured the attention of audiences worldwide, and the next chapters of how Blake and Taylor navigate this moment will be closely watched by all. The story of Blake Lively and Taylor Swift is not just about two celebrities at different points in their careers. It is also about the way media and fans shape narratives and turn private friendships into public spectacles. The entertainment industry thrives on drama and speculation, and when it comes to two high-profile figures like Blake and Taylor, the appetite for stories is endless. Every photo, every comment, and every gesture becomes material for interpretation and debate. This is how what might simply be a quiet moment in a friendship can be blown up into a headline about a meltdown. From the outside, it seems almost impossible for celebrities to maintain genuine connections without the world watching and waiting for cracks to appear. The friendship between Blake and Taylor has long been admired and celebrated, but now, with the release of Taylor's new album, every move Blake makes is scrutinized in comparison to how she has supported Taylor in the past. When Taylor released earlier albums, Blake was quick to post supportive messages and attend concerts, making it clear that she was proud of her friend. But with this new release, the silence or subtle change in Blake's behavior has become noticeable to fans who are used to seeing Her vocal praise, the absence of expected enthusiasm, has been enough to convince many that something has shifted, and the media has jumped on the opportunity to magnify the observation. In today's world, even silence becomes a statement, and Blake's quiet response has been interpreted as disapproval, disappointment, or jealousy, even if none of that is true. Once the story catches fire, it takes on a life of its own, creating a cycle where speculation fuels coverage and coverage fuels more speculation. This cycle is one of the biggest challenges of modern celebrity culture. It places stars in a position where they must constantly manage not only their careers, but also their friendships, family life, and even their feelings in public view. The idea of a meltdown does not necessarily mean that Blake has lashed out or had an explosive moment. It could simply mean that the weight of these expectations, combined with the overwhelming attention on Taylor, has left her feeling unsettled, frustrated, or even disheartened. One of the interesting aspects of this situation is how fans have divided themselves into camps. Some are fiercely defending Blake, arguing that she has every right to feel overshadowed without it being a reflection of jealousy. They point out that friendships go through ups and downs, and that not everything has to be seen as rivalry. Others, however, believe that the contrast between Taylor's shining moment and Blake's quieter presence highlights the fragile nature of celebrity bonds, especially when one star is operating at the peak of global influence. The debate has become part of the entertainment conversation itself, with countless think pieces, opinion videos, and social media threads analyzing every angle at the same time. This story illustrates the psychological challenges of fame. For someone like Blake, who has been a household name for years, it must be difficult to watch the conversation shift so strongly toward her friend, knowing that her own work may not receive the same attention or energy. Does not that Blake lacks success, her film career, her fashion influence, and her business ventures all speak to her accomplishments, but when placed side by side with the cultural phenomenon of a Taylor Swift album, the balance of attention tilts dramatically. This imbalance can create feelings of invisibility, even for a star who is deeply admired. This is not unique to Blake and Taylor. It is part of a larger pattern where celebrity friendships often face strain under the glare of publicity. History shows countless examples where stars who once appeared inseparable eventually drifted apart, not necessarily because of personal betrayal, but because of the pressures of competing schedules, careers, and constant comparisons. In this sense, the Blake and Taylor story is as much about Hollywood itself as it is about them. It reflects how difficult it is to maintain authenticity in a space where everything is magnified and monetized. The rule of fans cannot be ignored either. Taylor Swift has one of the most passionate and dedicated fan bases in the world. Her supporters analyze every lyric, every outfit, and every gesture, looking for hidden meanings and connections. When they suspect a song may reference Blake, whether positively or negatively, they latch onto it and spread theories across social platforms. Within hours, these theories become trending topics discussed not only by fans, but by mainstream outlets too. And suddenly Blake finds herself pulled into the narrative of an album that was never directly about her. This is the double-edged sword of being close to someone as famous as Taylor. While it brings visibility and admiration, it also means being swept into the tidal wave of attention that follows her every move. Fans may think they are celebrating their idol, but in doing so, they sometimes create unintended pressure on the people around her, who must now navigate public scrutiny that they never asked for. In Blake's case, the speculation about her meltdown has spread so widely that it has overshadowed her own projects and appearances. Reporters now ask about Taylor when Blake attends events, turning every moment into an opportunity to fuel the drama rather than focus on her work. This has only deepened the perception that she is defined in relation to Taylor rather than standing as her own figure. And while Blake has always maintained grace and professionalism in public, it is not hard to imagine how this might weigh heavily on her privately. Friendships, under normal circumstances, require patience, communication, and understanding, but under the gaze of millions, They require almost superhuman resilience. Another factor at play is how gender roles in Hollywood contribute to this narrative. When male stars succeed, their friendships are rarely framed as rivalries or competitions. But when women rise in similar industries, the media often frames it as one against the other. Blake and Taylor are both strong, successful women in their fields, yet the headlines focus less on their achievements and more on whether they are jealous of each other. This framing reveals not just the pressure of fame, but also the biases that shape entertainment coverage, and it adds another layer to why this story has gained so much traction for fans. It is not just about a friendship, it is about watching how the powerful women navigate the unfair expectations placed upon them. This story continues to grow. It is clear that both Blake and Taylor will have to make choices about how to address it publicly. Will Blake break her silence with a statement or a supportive gesture? Will Taylor acknowledge the rumors, or will both choose to remain quiet, letting the narrative run its course? Whatever happens, the world will be watching, because at this point the story has become bigger than either of them. It is no longer just about an album release or a friend's reaction. It is about the larger conversation of fame, friendships, and the costs of living life in the public eye. In the end, the story of Blake Lively's supposed meltdown over Taylor Swift's new album is less about confirming whether she truly had a negative reaction, and more about examining the complicated world of fame, friendship, and public perception. At its heart, this entire situation shows how fragile and delicate celebrity dynamics can appear once placed under the endless spotlight of media and fan speculation. Whether Blake truly felt overshadowed, or whether this was just another rumor magnified by social networks, the reality is that her name has become tied to the narrative of this album cycle, even if she never intended for that to happen. For Taylor, the release of her new project is another landmark moment in her career, one that proves her power, influence, and connection to millions of fans around the world. But with such success comes ripple effects on those around her, including friends like Blake, who may find themselves unintentionally dragged into the whirlwind. The conclusion here is that in the world of entertainment, nothing exists in isolation. Every achievement, every headline, every public moment creates waves that affect others nearby, sometimes in positive ways, sometimes in ways that bring stress or strain. What we can take away from this story is the recognition that friendships in Hollywood are not immune to the pressures of fame. They are often put to the test in ways that regular friendships never experience, because in this world, silence can become a statement, a small gesture can turn into a headline, and a private feeling can be exaggerated into a public spectacle. For Blake, she remains an accomplished and admired star in her own right, and no amount of speculation can erase her legacy in film, fashion, and culture. For Taylor, she continues to prove why she is one of the most important musical voices of her generation, and her success is a reminder of the heights that can be achieved through dedication and connection with fans. What the public must remember is that while it is easy to consume these stories as entertainment, there are real people at the center of them, navigating emotions, relationships, and challenges in ways that we may never fully understand. In the end, whether or not there was truly a meltdown, the story reflects the broader truth about modern celebrity culture. Fame is both a gift and a burden, and balancing personal bonds and its weight requires strength, understanding, and resilience. The fascination with Blake and Taylor will no doubt continue, but perhaps the most important lesson for fans and media alike is to celebrate their achievements without always assuming rivalry, to appreciate their bond without demanding constant proof of it, and to remember that behind the headlines are two women living real lives beyond the glare of the spotlight.